Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Imam Anuegra. I am from PBIB, and then I wanna read the journal. This the title: Teaching Narrative Reading by Using the Subtext Strategy for Islamic Senior High School Students. Abstract. The objective of this study were to find out whether or not there was a significant improvement before and after the treatment on the 11th grade students' reading comprehensions scores at one Islamic senior high school in Palembang by using subject strategies and to find out whether or not there was a significant difference on the 11th grade students. Reading comprehensions scores between the students who were taught by using student strategy and those who were not. In the study, quiz experimental design using pretest post-test. Non-equivalent groups design was used. There were 60 students taken as samples. Each class consists of 330 students from class 11 EPS 2 as control group and class 11 EPS 3 as experimental group. Introduction. English is a global language that cannot be separated from our daily life. It becomes an important language since most of the people use English as their daily communication tool. According to Crystal, English is a global language which is widely used in various countries and in various fields. In addition, Mapis and Johari state that English language is one of the most spoken languages in the world of today. Similarly, also state the English is most widely used language in the world. It suggests at least 150 million people use English fluently as a foreign language. Besides use in science, knowledge, technology, and art, English can be a tool to get the aim at economic trade, international relations, social culture, purpose, and education with developing career. In Indonesia, English is very important to be mastered. Macerima and Hamdan state that English language teaching becomes increasingly important as the first foreign language in Indonesia. Therefore, the government requests that all schools in Indonesia, especially at the high school level, to make English as one of subjects. Test in the national examinations. According to Lauter, it's widely recognized that English is important for Indonesia, and the reason most frequently put forward to this is that English is a global international language. Reading has an important role in English. In relation to this, however, comprehending reading text is not an easy activity. In Indonesia, reading still becomes a problem for the students. World Bank and I describe that in East of Asia, Indonesian people had the lowest level in reading English text. Indonesian students' reading skills is lower than other countries. The mean score of students was 397, while the OECD average score was 493. The position rank of Indonesia in PISA reading is 60 hours out of 70 countries participating report from Program for International Student Assessment PISA 2015. And then literature review, reading comprehension, reading compression, and narrative text. Reading compression is the main purpose of reading activity. All all readers intend to have connection to the material that they read. Of course, the process of reading comprehensions is also complex, and it takes time for a reader to acquire the meaning of a reading material. According to Dorn and Sophos, comprehending involves interpreting and synthesizing ideas in ways that influence the reader's mind. The writers need to be able to figure out the author's purpose presenting the material, comprehending some valuable information that in the passage in relation to comprehending the overall content of reading materials. Subtext strategy. Several Several theories about subtext strategy have been stated by a number of experts. Leland, Lawson, and Hess define that subtext strategy helps students to identify meanings that are not especially stated in text. It asks students to think about the various characters in a story and write down what they say, as well as what they are thinking. In addition, state that subtext strategy engage in making personal connections, developing increasingly strategic inferencing skills, emphasizing with characters and understanding perspective different from their own. Subtext strategy enables students to reflect critically on text and writing by delving deeply into their own thoughts and feelings as they consider the situation of characters. Method, research design, research site, and participants. This study used a quasi-experimental design, pre-test, post-test, non-equivalent group design. There were two groups, experimental and control group, which was given the same pre-test and post-test. The experimental group was given treatment by using subtext strategy, but the control group was not. The population of this research was 11 grade students of MA Patra Mandiri Palembang, one of Islamic Senior High School in Palembang. Meanwhile, the samples were taken by using conference sampling. This as claim that conference sampling is a group of individuals who are available for study. And data collection, analysis. In this study, we use reading comprehension tests in the form of multiple choice to collect the data. The test items in the pre-test were the same as those of per-test because the purpose of giving them was to know the progress of students' reading comprehensions, scores before and after treatment. Pre-test was given before the treatment. The purpose of giving pre-test to the student was to know the student English reading comprehension score before implementing subtext strategy. Meanwhile, post-test was given after the treatment. The post-test was administered to know the student's English reading comprehension scores after implementing subtext strategy. Describe statistic. In the describe statistic, the total of sample N minimum and maximum score, mean score, standard deviation were analyzed. The score were obtained from 1. Pretest score in control group, 2. Post-test score in control group, 3. Post-test score in experimental group, and 4. Post-test score in experimental group. And discussion. Based on the findings above, some interpretations were made as flaws at conducting the research. It was found that there was a significant improvement from students pre-test to post-test score in experimental and control group from the result of paired sample test analysis. In other words, students' reading comprehension achievement in experimental group improved after they were taught by using subtext strategy. Meanwhile, student reading comprehension achievement in control group also improved, but not as significant as the experimental group did. In addition, we found that the student faced difficulties before the treatment in experimental group. The problems were 1. The lack of student motivation in reading English text. 2. The student got difficulty to identify the characteristic of the narrative text. 3. The student had poor vocabulary. 4. They could not understand the content of the narrative text. And lastly, 5. Some of students got difficult in comprehending the text. And conclusion, there are some conclusions that can be drawn from this research. Refer to the findings and interruption present in the previous chapter. First, based on the result of pre-test to post-test, subtext strategy significantly improved students' reading comprehension score to the 11th grade student of the Islamic Senior High School in Palembang. Second, there was significant difference on students' reading comprehension score to the 11th grade students who were taught by using subtext strategy and those who were taught by strategy that was usually used by the teacher of one Islamic Senior High School in Palembang. Therefore, it can be inferred that the teaching reading comprehension in narrative text by using subtext strategy can be considered as an alternative strategy that can be used. Okay, I think enough for reading today. I wanted to say sorry if I have many mistakes. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.